Are you going to raise or are you going to lower? Good morning, competitor. Jake here, your Chief Encouragement Officer. Welcome to today's new episode of the Compete Everyday podcast. I'm excited to kick off this brand new week with you as we're talking about raising and lowering. As we head into the show, I want to encourage you, if you haven't yet, head to CompeteEveryday.com and grab one of our pink fundraiser shirts for October. Our team has directly been impacted by the battle against breast cancer, and so we want to make sure that we're supporting that cause and all the great research and work done by the National Breast Cancer Foundation. And so this month, we've dropped 2 brand new pink shirts. You're going to find a version of the Beat Yesterday and then the classic Compete Everyday. Portion of all proceeds from those shirts are going to go directly to National Breast Cancer Foundation and supporting the great work they're doing. If you would love, grab one for yourself or for a friend, head to CompeteEveryday.com, use the code PODCAST, and you can save an additional 15% off your order. Now, are we raising or are we lowering? I love this quote by Coach Mike Krzyzewski, who is the legendary Duke basketball coach. Coach K says, you can either lower your goals to match your effort, or you can raise your effort to match your goals. For those of you listening to the show who have gone through one of my coaching programs, you've probably heard me talk about this. There are a number of new and aspiring speakers I have the opportunity to work with. And in our first session, we always talk about our goals and our work habit. Those determine the axes on where we sit on our journey to becoming full-time in this industry. And so we all have big goals coming out of the gate, but oftentimes we don't have a work habit to match it. I remember when I started in the industry, I had big goals, I had big aspirations, but it wasn't that I didn't have work ethic. It's that I didn't have the right work habit for those goals because I didn't know what it took to get there, right? I knew what I wanted to teach, I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do it. And so despite having the ability to work hard, despite wanting the goal, I had to learn how to develop the right work habit for that goal. I had to learn everything that goes into behind the scenes of things off the stage that most people don't realize go into the business side. And so I had to build a consistent, disciplined work habit to match my goals. And so what did that mean initially? Initially, I had to scale down my immediate goals to match my work ethic. So initially, it meant I had to scale down my immediate goals as I built the work habit. But as my work habit started to grow and improve, I started stretching those goals further and further. We live in a society that wants the reward without the work required to get there, and no reward. We live surrounded by a society that wants a return without making an investment. They want the reward without the work. And in reality, every one of them have to realize you either need to scale down the goals of what you want, or you have to increase the effort you're willing to put in to get there. Now, that's not always about working 80-hour weeks, putting in more time. Sometimes it's about learning what to work on. See, that was me at the beginning of my speaking journey. Is I didn't know what to work on. I didn't know how to build the business. And so what did I have to do? I had to make investments. I invested in coaching. I invested in books. I invested time into testing and learning. Now, all of these things started to pay that dividend back because what it was it allowed me new knowledge and ways to speed up my success. That's one of the reasons I'm so adamant about always having a coach. If you want to be great, you always want to have a coach in your corner because they're going to allow you to speed up your path to success. Without a deposit, we get no return. And so this week, my challenge for you is the goals that you have set for Q4. Do you currently have the effort and the work habit in order to reach them? Or do you need to scale those things up? Are you willing to scale up your efforts and your work habit? And if you're not, are you willing to scale down your goals? Because you're going to have to decide. Either your effort and your work habit scale up or your goals scale down. But you can't have a low work ethic, a low habit, and big goals. Those are just dreams, things that you think about when you sleep, when you daydream in the middle of the day, but you never put a plan to pursue. Every goal that we reach sets target for a new goal, right? A bigger goal. We get this promotion. Now, suddenly we're working toward climbing up to the next chain, right? We sign our first client. Now the goal is to sign that second client. Every new goal requires, here's the deal, a new level of us. I've talked about it here on the show before that as we grow, as we go after bigger goals, when we reach them, in order to then get the next step, we have to continue to evolve. We have to continue making deposits, which means when we get to those moments, we have to then scale back up our work habit. We have to scale back up our effort and intensity. It's not like you reach this goal and suddenly everything from then on out is smooth sailing. It's like we make the climb, we reach this mountain peak, and then we realize, oh, the next goal is another mountain. I have to start the climb all over again. It's one of the reasons most people have maybe success once and then never duplicate it. It's because they get comfortable in that first climb and they're not willing to start hiking again. It's why most people probably never even reach the mountain peak to begin with, is because they don't want to put in the work. They want the reward without the work required. They want the return without making the deposit. But if you're someone listening to this show, which means you're probably someone who competes every day, or you're exploring the idea of what would change in my life if I showed up to compete every day, if I showed up to strive toward that better version of myself, if I showed up to chase down my potential on a more consistent basis than I have before, if that's you, then you have to ask yourself the question, does my work habit and effort match the goals I'm trying to reach? Yes or no? Face the truth. Either the answer is yes and you continue on your path, or the answer is no and you're faced with a choice. Do I scale down my goals to something more comfortable with average, or do I find a way to increase my work habit and my effort in order to reach it? And there's multiple ways you can do that, right? You can improve your focus and limit your distractions. You can hire a coach who's going to get in your corner and help you speed that up. You can take an online course. You can read a book. You can implement things in order to increase your work habit and get better at it. But here's the deal. You have to answer that question, yes or no. Yes, my habits and my effort match the goal I'm trying to reach, or no, they don't. And then what am I going to do about it? Look at your personal life. Look at your relationships. Look at your physical health. Look at your career goals. Take stock in each of these 4 areas and ask yourself, do the goals I have match the effort and the habit I'm putting into it? And if not, where do I need to better align them this week? If you want the goal, you got to be willing to do the work. And every higher, bigger, better goal we chase after requires a higher, better, bigger version of ourselves. No deposit, no return. Go win your day today, competitor. You know I'm cheering for you.